family planning champions, welcome to FPNN ICFP Today, Day 3, live from the heart of the conference. I am Alice Aite, a journalist from Ghana, and the plenary sessions have been rolling non-stop since we kicked off. Equity in access, innovation in delivery, rights-based programming, these aren't just themes, they are the heartbeat of every little discussion. If you missed any of the adolescent sexual and reproductive health rights, catch the replay on the ICFP portal. Let me share a highlight that stopped me in my truck at the exhibition hall. So I spoke with the Nigerian director of IPAS, and he shared that 10 to 12 years ago, they launched a targeted project. Today, it has more than doubled the number of persons with disabilities accessing reproductive health services in their pilot states in Nigeria. In the spirit of solutions journalism, I will tell that beautiful story when I go back to Ghana and to the rest of the world. From training midwives in disability inclusive care to distributing Braille and large print IEC materials, IPAS has built a model that works. Their message is simple. Inclusion isn't just a checkbox. It's the foundation of universal health coverage. I know that the exhibition floor has been buzzing with solutions, and my colleague Yannick has been on the ground visiting stands and talking to innovators, very wonderful ones. Yannick, take it away. What's lighting up the halls today?
Tous et à toutes, bienvenue dans
So in Bogotá, Colombia, I am a journalist from Ivory Coast, and today I would like you to come to the center of the Congress in Bogotá, where we are in the 7th emission of the International Conference of Family Planning. Today we have a wonderful festival of ideas, of innovation and commitment. And for several reasons, because there are different entities from the entire world who are united for the same purpose, that is to promote the sexual and reproductive rights and reinforce access to family planning for all. We participate in different meetings and we share, and we have now a startup who's going to show an innovative application for family planning for the African communities that show the sensitization of different spaces. We have universities, agencies, and other pharmaceutical companies with a dialogue, and they share good practices. Also, beyond that, the simple exposure, what we live here, ladies and gentlemen, are different human gatherings, spontaneous meetings, collaboration with ideas that shape, that take form, and which are connection points. These are points where innovation, research are together to build a more inclusive future for all of us. That's the future of ICFP.
Your moments with us, hashtag ICFP 2025. And hashtag FPNN. We will be handing over to the main stage where one of our main co-funders or co-sponsors wonderful conversation. Take it away.
Hola a todos, muy buenos.
Good morning to you all. Thank you for being with us in this space, which is cataloged as the best hospital of Colombia and co-host of our meeting. My name is Victoria Gomez. I am the Director of Communications of Valle de Lili Foundation. I want to talk about something that goes beyond medicine and hope. I want to talk about solidarity and the power of a hospital when you decide to go beyond the walls. Here, where we all need that, because a hospital not only saves lives, but inside their intensive care unit, they can transform realities at kilometers of distance. In territories with, in many occasions, the access to specialists is almost impossible. So, when a hospital shares its knowledge, its human talent, we create networks of life. This is precisely what this hospital represents, and its program Padrinos, or sponsors. Here we have our main characters, of Valle de Lili Foundation, and she's going to tell us about this experience. So, Doctor, welcome to our space. Good morning, and thank you to all of us who are with us present on the room and those who listen to us on streaming. Thank you for sharing these models of innovation. They have been born from our heart, from the heart of everyone that believes that what we do every day really transforms the reality of many human beings, boys, girls, adolescents, and young women, including those who are pregnant. Doctor, please share with us how this idea was born, which is the story that inspired you, that now you have this program in national level. I am a gynecologist and obstetrician and specialize in intensive care because we have in our country a very important reality to face, which is maternal mortality. I am a mother of two, and I am aware what it means for them not having me, like today, which I'm working. But maternal mortality was something that could not be repaired in many areas where we work. For this reason, we created an obstetrician and an obstetrics intensive care unit trying to provide solution to this problem. These services generate knowledge. They are able to formulate public policies. They help to create narratives so that the patients would arrive to the hospital. However, in 2018, I fought with the drivers of the ambulances, which brought the patients in very bad condition. This happened because they came alone on the back of the vehicle, and all the rights were vulnerated. As patients, today being treated with humanity is what we want. In one of those fights, which is a big friend of mine, he told me, "Look, doctor, if you feel this in your heart, give me your phone when I'm going to arrive." That's the beginning of the idea, because he says that when we are focused in big cities and capitals, we forget what happens in the other places. We don't know what's happening with the hospital. We don't know what the doctors know. And for purpose of family planning, we found doctors or physicians that have never applied an implant, and they are the managers of this reality to be possible. In that process, I was called by a town called Toribio. It's one of the most violent villages in the world. We also have the very beautiful intercultural hospital. They have won many awards. Arrived an indigenous woman. She was with seizures and in 8 months of pregnancy. She was treated as possible in that hospital, but the doctor didn't know what to do or who to call. At that moment, she did what she could. She was set out from the ambulance. The vehicle was stalled because of lack of gasoline. So she called us, and when they called, the boys are crying because they went inside the same ambulance. They had to see the bad shows of seeing her mother die. So from the foundation, we are able to provide support. This is a story which I always tell is very difficult to recount, but they arrive to the foundation and they die. So why do we have these institutions if we cannot help other people? That's why I cry, and as I always do when I tell a story. So I go to the office of my boss, Dr. Marcela, and I say, "Doctor, we cannot possibly we have the best hospital in Colombia, and we cannot help others. That's stupid." That's the beginning of the idea of really sponsoring our other hospitals. I think what happens is that the story of many women have allowed us, so that cannot continue. So in some way we have to generate a solution from what we know to do. Doctor, that's a very really touching beginning, but please tell us, how does it work? How does Hospital Padrino work? What's the meaning of the Hospital Valle de Lili to have being sponsoring other entities? The first thing is that Colombia has many Colombias, as many countries have many countries inside. The first thing we do is to sit with the local governments and with the national governments and to define what the problem is. We have entered to the world of sexual and reproductive health because after lowering the fire, of reducing the fire of the main roots, we need to go deeper and to go to the main roots. Here with the government we establish that development plan, what indicators they are not able to cover, and what we do is to generate a model which has two components which are big. First, education. We generate an education model that is really very pragmatic to make decisions and that is centered to be understood by anyone, for example the nurse assistant and the specialist. What we have found is that if you don't go to the hospitals, or if you go too much to the hospital, are the specialized human talent who are the base of what we do inside the institution. So we go out and teach. We provide education that really migrates to the territories. We go to every one of 402 hospitals. Most of them are known, some of them are not known because we cannot have access because of security, not because we don't want to go. And then we understand how the hospital works, the equipment, the talent. We have found equipment that they don't know how to use them. So in many cases, people cannot be updated. We send information to train and update people regarding their knowledge. How do we do so that the equipment works better? When we have done that process, then we create a chat, and in the chat we create a communication model of telemedicine which is going to be permanent. Any Colombian who is respected, any Latin American person has the application WhatsApp, and that becomes your life. We use that entry point, and let me give you an example. In the hospital of the city of Maicao, in the department of La Guajira, I teach how to handle the obstetrics emergencies, and to the entire team that handles these emergencies, I tell them, let's create a chat. So they ask us, and when they need help, we have specialists as myself, in my different specialties, endocrinologists, gynecologists. We have people always answering 24/7. And through these chats we can help them to know which is the hospital that cannot serve them better. How do we do to solve the problem of access? Because as the government is involved, we may use helicopters, airplanes, canopies, whatever we can use, or boats, to have the chance to survive. And that was in theory the model, education and telemedicine. But when we started with the reconstruction, that the model was going to be generate to end a model of social innovation in health, because I cannot just go to a hospital, generate an expectation that I'm going to help, generate an expectation that I can solve something if he does this or that with patients, and they have no resources to work with. So in the Kivda hospital, we were able to send thousands of units of medication because they had no medications, and it was not a problem of finances but of access, of who can send me those medications that I need. For that model, what we do is to look for alliances with partners, with multiple donors. This goes from international cooperation, philanthropic people who still exist in our country, private company, and the governments. It's very important to us because when we see with the government, each of the secretariats, they create their own intervention plans, and they create different immediate solutions of plan. Let me give you some examples of what we can get to the institutions. There were some, like the Hospital San Andres Islas, there was no ecographies for the pregnant woman. There were no beds for children. There were not also small beds for the kids. And we had nutritional supplements. So starting from that, we made contact to send digital connection, digital development. We had low cost, high penetration, and all this create development. We were able to create alliances with the Harvard University, and other hospitals, and through the YU Foundation we were able to put a CPAP of low cost for neonatal reanimation. And with all that movement, finally, we were able to have an impact in the indicators of development of the country. We were able to impact in reduction of maternal mortality and to publish those results. Let me give you an example. In my department, which is Valle del Cauca, we reduced the maternal mortality from 78% from 1,000 to 78 for 100,000 to 18 out of 100,000. That is very difficult to achieve, but with the new neonatal model, we were able to reduce that important rate to 3.3 out of 100,000. That is almost like living in Canada. Therefore, the model has expanded. Why? Well, because when we saw what the important things were to strengthen talent, to build the networks, and by sending innovation, we create innovation to other territories. That was the mindset. So when other specialists arrive, we have the CVA specialists. So, and we told them we have this problem. And at that point, we were able to extinguish the fire. We were able to move to the world of sexual and reproductive health. This is a world that I consider I am passionate about. I am woman, I respect it. I am a woman leader. I understand how difficult it could be for us to lead this kind of subjects. It's important for us to have autonomy and in the process to be able to help others to see other options, other women and adolescents. So we began in this project and I think it's great. We send education, we take supplies, and we just started to see very good results. We have seen different results in Valle del Cauca, and we expanded the use of our model in this region. Doctor, now we understand the equation of Hospital Padrino. It's about training to those professionals in different centers, low complexity hospitals in different regions, and that accompaniment, which is virtual, through using such basic tools such as WhatsApp and other technological tools. And that accompaniment with the consecution of resources and all the supplies which are required. Please now tell us a bit in numbers, which has been the impact. We have been, let's say, like, which has been the impact, the coverage, how many people have been trained, and maybe if you have those figures.
So right now we are at 402 hospitals in 26 departments around the country. We have trained over 22,000 persons that work in the health care area. We have addressed over 25,000 patients by way of the models. We have 6 social innovation projects in health care, and because of those development models, we have around 15 publications, some in the most important magazines, showing that the impact does work and it can be done. We have a very important contribution for the reduction of the lethality rate, maternal, neonatal, perinatal, and now pediatric in the hospitals in that intervention. You told us, doctor, that there are other specialties that have linked, such as oncology, stroke, that of course these are situations of everyday life situations, but these situations with low level complexity, well, the assistance there is low. So what other things are we addressing with a sponsoring hospital? Well, we have 15 lines of action, but there I would like to clarify on something, Victoria, and is that when you study medicine and practitioners are recently, or rural ones, especially in the most vulnerable territories, you have had to go through all the specialties where you rotate in every day, like 8 days, 5 days, or 15 days. And with that, you have to solve any kind of issue. And nobody is entirely well trained. So ultimately, what we have done is to try to give a solution, a practical solution, to a problem that we have. And being here, I definitely would like to enforce what we are doing in terms of sexual and reproductive health. Doctors should know how to choose a family planning method. Women who have children at the age of 15 in vulnerable territories, because there's nobody else who can help them. no access to gynecologist. They can't put a method so as to not have a next son during their teenagehood. This is something that will generate a problem that is extremely severe. So what we are trying to do the most is to partner up to the national policy of going back to primary assistance and to those things that should be solved and that are not present, trying to provide up. So my colleague Fernando Avila, who is a lead in this and who has gone throughout the entire country trying to understand this, has allowed us to see what is good for the territory. But there's no single formula. Instead, we have a formula that is adapted to the context. And above all, Doctor, because with all this, we are fully aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals and with all of those issues that are addressed worldwide. To summarize, we would like for you to tell us, where does that sponsoring hospital go to? What are the next goals for this program? Well, I think that the first thing is to strengthen what we have in place and to make it scalable and sustainable. This has been our great goal. And the second goal that we have today is to start including the model in other territories where we can take to other countries around Latin America that have the same realities, to convey this that we have learned, and ultimately to sponsor those hospitals that don't have other options and that are waiting for our help today. And hopefully by way of this, we can generate options, partnerships, and opportunities for them. Doctor, thank you very much. I would now like to invite you to hear from the news of Profamilias, the Profanotas during this space. So, Sophie. Hi. Thank you, B, and thank you, Dr. Maria Fernanda. So, good morning to each and every one of you. I am Sofia Moncayo, and I would like to welcome you once again to Profa in Minutes. This is a space where we will be telling you about all the most important news that are going on here at the ICFP 2025, I'm sorry. And I would like to send a special greeting out to all the people that are joining us in the audience, and especially to all the people who are seeing us via streaming from all the corners around the world. We would like to start off by saying that yesterday we officially started this international conference on family planning. We officially started the live stage, the space that we are on now, and I believe that what really marked yesterday was all that knowledge, innovation, and all of this scientific strategy, as well as innovation that is being led in the conference. We started with plenary sessions, simultaneous talks, presentation of posters, different presentations from experts around the world that got together here at Agora in Bogotá to present all the different innovations regarding the different topics. In my top three, well, actually my top four, I have those that I think are the most interesting. This is a space where the team of different organizations, especially from Nigeria, who presented us their strategies for the prevention of teenage pregnancy and how the lack of information and conversation with parents, caregivers, educators have an influence for an increase of these cases. Another very important topic that we saw yesterday, also from Profamilia, are the different innovative techniques that allow the vasectomy process to be much safer, reliable, and more men have access to this system. We also saw presentations regarding access to self-managed abortion in a safe way, which allow us to see the importance of guaranteeing reproductive autonomy of women and pregnant persons. And of course, I also think it's important to bring up to the table the presentation of posters from our Family Planning News Network, who presented this incredible strategy regarding community reporters and the right way of telling stories from new narratives, from a one that gives us hope, that allows us to talk about the human lives and the experiences of all beings. I think yesterday, well, allowed us also to talk a lot about many things in the same way. The live stage has its official opening. In this space, we had experts, specialists, from the UN. We also had Valle de Lili, who is also joining us at this time, and different reporters, both men and women, for the Family Planning News Network, that sat down with people that are passionate for what they do, and that just as like all the people that are here, we believe in the power of communication to transform realities and to build better environments for all the people here. this is also a very important message. If you missed one of those live spaces that we had during our live stage yesterday, you can find them on YouTube live from ICFP, Family Planning News Network, or on the website as well. So another topic that have been important and relevant for the people who are seeing us, or for those who can't see us live, maybe the experience that we would like to also convey is that the convention center, Agora Bogotá, is packed with stands with different organizations, projects, and thematics that are highly relevant. I have my top 3 of stands. The first one is World Vasectomy Day, with an extremely interesting narrative on vasectomy, on sexual and reproductive rights, to bring down all of these myths and taboos around vasectomy. So if maybe people right now that are in Agora are listening to me, you have to go and swing by the Vasectomy Day stand. And also very close to it, even on the first floor, we can find a specialized stand for sexual health and reproductive games, which I think is incredible. I think that the game itself is a very interesting and dynamic way to come out with information on prevention, sexuality for boys, girls, teenagers, and why not adults as well. And lastly, but not less important, also is a stand of Pro Familia that has been highly visited with our giant condom. So we have a lot of information, games, and so yes, if you can hear me, do not doubt on or hesitate to swing by. So I think that my message to wrap up is that after going through so many hallways yesterday, I believe that I have one key message to send out, and it is that I am extremely happy to see the wave of collectivity and hope that we breathe in this conference at this time. It's not just an academic meeting. We think that this is just a space for scientific events or co-funding topics, but no, this is actually a space where there is an emergence of partnerships, where there's an emergence of new conversations to promote rights in the face of a wave and threats right now that go against these achievements that we have fought for and that many organizations have fought for quite some time now. So here we are tracing the future of sexual and reproductive rights, and it's also very important to see the commitment that so many countries are having for this to become a reality. So this is how we wrap up the second day. This is Profa Minutos. Remember that you can see us live on YouTube in the International Conference on Family Planning, or the website, or the Family Planning News Network.org. Remember to continue our broadcast. We'll see you tomorrow once again at Profa Minutos, because here in Bogotá, we continue working heavily so that the sexual and reproductive rights can be a reality for all the persons. Thank you very, very much.